So recently, we had an experience with a client that brought home the importance once again of being 100% in life, and especially around eating whole food, plant based when we want to heal the body, when we want to have the highest levels of health possible in all areas. And yeah, I just think it's the only way. And from my experience, it's the only way to have the highest level of health as we age. Be 100% committed to the body thriving and giving the body what it needs to thrive.
So what was that client?
Well, what happened was she had lost 45 pounds. She'd gotten rid of her rheumatoid arthritis. Wonderful results. And maintained the weight loss, but didn't continue to lose weight, which always kind of puzzled me because when you eat a whole food plant-based diet, you lose weight naturally until you reach that ideal point that the body functions best at. And I could see she could still lose more. Well, then she began to share that she would, at times, and more times than I realized, go off the trail and eat processed food, high sugar, high fat food that kept her weight here. And she would constantly, she'd reveal to me, test how much of that could I eat and not have a flare up of my rheumatoid arthritis.
That's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah. So then she'd back off when the signs of a flare up would come, but she wouldn't stay 100%. And then another health concern arose that was serious. She got more motivated to live 100%. She started eating her greens more, many times a day, which she needed to do. And she just did not go off the trail. And she has lost 10 more pounds. She feels her energy back, which she had lost. Seems like there were a couple of other things, but I don't remember.
Well, I think one of the things too that's noticeable is her mood has changed, her psychology, her sense of well-being. She feels good about herself again.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we're doing living a lifestyle that nourishes us and we find energy and clarity, we feel good, and that then ripples out in all of our interactions with relationships and just everything. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and one thing that is really special is when I talk with her on the telephone, I hear this strong energy come out of her that was missing for some time. So she's really excited about what's happening. And she says, eating 100% whole food plant-based, I don't have cravings for the junk. That's completely gone. So good news.
Yeah, so this too is an example of how we can create lasting change. Lasting change is really hard. In fact, I don't think it's possible to maintain lasting change with just willpower and determination. I know what to eat, I'm just going to eat that, and where's that sense of joy, freedom, well-being and that? But what she experienced was she fell off the wagon, she had this concern, she got back on, and in coming back on this time, she had a deeper and deeper seeing of that value of a healthy relationship with food and her sense of well-being. So the insight of that relationship between a healthy diet and a healthy experience of life on all levels goes deeper and deeper. These insights allow us then to, or like she said, she didn't have the cravings for the foods, but we had that experience too. When we were in Edmonton teaching all those years, I look back and I remember, we would still go out to restaurants every now and then.
True.
We wanted a treat, there's that whole idea. I've worked so hard. I need a reward. Let somebody serve me. And we'd go out to nice restaurants and we wouldn't typically order what was on the menu. We would ask them to give us their vegetables with this little oil, and they did wonderful dishes for us. But even that, I can't remember a time when we weren't already just walking out the door before we were out the door. And we would look at each other and go, why did we do that? Because the food we were eating at home made us feel so much better.
True.
It really did taste better. It didn't have all the kind of, what is it that restaurants do? The bouquet, this huge fireworks experience of taste and savory experience. It didn't have all that. But it turns out that's not what our bodies were looking for. That kind of feeds the experience up here, but not the experience down here. So over time, we began to have that deeper and deeper insight to where now the idea of going out, because it'll come up like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to just go have somebody serve us? And that is not, it's almost like it's not an option.
No, we know you get better food at home. So why?
And so why?
Yeah.
So why? So, the point we want to make too in this blog is the importance of 100% and not just like 80%. Our minds are so linear. It seems like, okay, this is the ideal diet. It's going to really restore my health and give me the energy I want. But, I kind of like my experience of food and going out with people and the kinds of things that are off the program, you might say. And what we found in Edmonton with all those people, it's like almost every week we'd have 15 or 20 people going through our 6-week course. And we would see a group of them would do it 100%. And they would have the results we're talking about, because our bodies are designed to function in a certain way and to restore health, to lose weight naturally, regenerate when we give it what it needs. And if we just do 80%, in my mind, it seems like, well, 80% will give me 80% of the results, and I'd be happy with that. But it's not what we saw. And it was so frustrating for the people that did the 80%, because when they would only do 80%, they would only get about 20% of the results.
True.
And so they're kind of upset sometimes, well, this doesn't really work. And we're saying, well, it does work. Look at your peers here. But when you only do 80%, you don't get 80% of the results. So we've seen it time and time again. And that's important to recognize. Dr. Clapper, when we were at the conference in Dallas, was talking to this point too, using an analogy of like the fuel that we put in our cars, and how if our car engine is designed to run on gasoline, if we put just 5 or 10% diesel in our tank, it doesn't lose just 5 or 10% of its functioning. I mean, it sometimes will hardly run. So it's like that. There's something about the body that if we aren't giving it 100%, that 20% is taking so much energy to deal with that we're not making hardly any gains at all.
Yeah, I want to share another important point to consider. A client that I have, she was phenomenal. She would lose weight, look extraordinary, have very high levels of energy, and then life would get stressful, and she would use that as an excuse to eat out and favorite old memory foods and gain weight. And this happened 3 times or 4 times, and the 4th time I said to her, are you aware of what when we lose weight and then gain, it creates this visceral fat around our organs? It's very dangerous health-wise. And actually, it's better not to lose weight than to lose and gain and lose and gain.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon that's becoming more and more obvious through this research, that when we lose weight, it typically comes off slowly, so we just lose all this weight. But when we put it back on, it goes on more quickly. And so, like Connie says, it's visceral and it builds up what's called juvenile plaque on our arteries. And that's the dangerous kind of plaque. That's the kind of plaque that creates clots, so that heart attacks and strokes. So as we kind of yo-yo diet, I used to think, well, gosh, that's so hard. It's got to be hard on the body, but it's just about weight going on, coming off. I wasn't aware of those deeper health implications that as we do that, every time we do it, we become more and more at risk of a heart attack or stroke because we build this juvenile plaque as it's coming back on.
So becoming 100%, in my experience, has two elements. One is eating whole food plant-based. When we eat a whole food plant-based, we naturally lose the cravings for the stuff that isn't good, and that puts weight on. And that's very helpful. But that doesn't always solve the complete issue. There are also the mental, emotional piece that is related to old experiences and memory of food, that once we do some insight in that arena, it can really change our lives, not only with food, but in many areas. And that's what our coaching is about. So we work on both levels, the food piece and the mental, emotional piece, to really know how life works and how the mind works. And that can create lasting change. 100% is the beginning. There's more to it that we can gain a foundation of that really, really can create wonderful changes in our lives.
What's the recipe?
Recipe today is so yummy and quick. It only takes about 5 minutes, if that.
Oh, yeah, but
if
you
you
bake
buy
it.
masa flour,
You bake it for an hour, though.
Yeah,
so
it
it's not
takes
walking in the door and you're eating.
time to
Not
cook
much
it.
prep time.
Yeah, so it's a quick tamale pie. It comes from Mary McDougall, and it is so delicious. We were going, yes, this is amazing. What a wonderful dish. And we served it with salsa and beans. It was really, really good. Bill used beans on his. I just used salsa on mine, but I loved it. So give it a go. It's a real quick, easy recipe that tastes divine.
That's it for today. Thanks for joining us.